Hello guys, welcome to the second episode of my how-to series. Today I'm going to be telling you on how you can be a smarter player. So the first thing on the road to being a smarter player is understanding your position or your role in the team. So starting with position, say for example if you're on CT side and you choose that you want to be the A player like I am, you need to kind of get a feel for the place you're playing. So like here, for example, if you notice that there's smokes going over the top, are you going to be falling off the site, or are you going to be full on committing yourself to the battle? If you're going to commit yourself to the battle, how are you going to be playing it? Are you just going to swing wide and try and take the challenges, which I wouldn't recommend, but I've seen some people do it? Or are you going to kind of understand your position more and what you can kind of watch from your position? So here, this is where I play. For example, I play default box. This is my main position. So what I do is from here I can peek out triple, I can peek out Tetris, I can peek out sandwich, I can swing wide for ramp or Tetris, or I can swing around here for Tetris. So what you kind of need to learn are ways to prevent and help you while they're pushing in. So learn flashes. So like for example I use this one, so you just throw it off that back wall and it pops there, and it's a very good pop flash to blind people. The one that I see people use is if they play under ball, which I do sometimes. Just bounce it off there, shoulder peek, and then look away. So it's a matter of like bang, 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 like that. So you're throwing your flash, you're peeking, showing presence, and turning away, then peeking back. Just things like that. You need to kind of, when you're picking where you are, you need to be kind of very vocal as well. You need to make sure that your team know exactly what you're doing. So if you throw a flash, you need to tell them where you're flashing and what it's going to be flashing. So like if I was here, I'd call out that I'm flashing Tetris, look away. So obviously if they're peeking here, they're blind. If they're peeking here, they're blind, that kind of thing. So you need to understand what position you're going to be taking on the map. But if you're on T side, for example, you need to understand what actual role you are on the team. So if, like me, you're an in-game leader, you need to understand what you need to be doing and what your job entails. Obviously, it's strat calling, it's creating strats, that kind of thing. It's kind of deciding what your team's going to be doing. So to become a smarter player, the first thing that you need to do is pick a position on a map, watch a lot of videos on ways to help you defend it. So like I said, do your flashes over the top, that kind of thing. Learn yourself some smokes, and also don't be over aggressive. Kind of, they've got to push you at the end of the day, so hold a close angle, let them push into you, peek out, headshot, just that kind of thing. So just make sure you know your position that you're holding, and you also need to make sure that you understand your role in the team. So the next thing we're going to be talking about is awareness and map awareness. Basically, that's what it really is, map awareness. And what I mean by map awareness is kind of, you got to be looking at the map in a sense of where can they be at what time, where can they be hiding, what can they be doing, can they be stacking, that kind of thing. They're the kind of things you'd be thinking while you're in the round. So for example on T side as awareness, if you haven't gone say A ramp instantly, say if you've given it 30 seconds, awareness would be checking that corner, swinging out and checking that corner, and clearing sight, that kind of thing. You've got a very good map awareness without realizing, and that's kind of what I find if you sit down and look at it and think about it. And that's just simply clearing out angles. So that's the first bit of map awareness, is understanding and realizing where people can be. That's kind of the main bit. But another part of it is timing and understanding where they can be at what time. So as an example of that, let's just say you spawn in here, you're the mid player and you spawn here. Okay, you need to run towards window, get into window, and then you need to peek. Okay, that, I don't know, that probably takes about 6 to 7 seconds. But if there's a T who gets the good mid spawn, which is roughly about here, it only takes them about 5 seconds. So they'll be there just slightly before you. So that's a thing to kind of take into note, that they can beat you if you've got a bad spawn and they've got a good spawn, or you'll meet roughly at the same time. So understanding where they can be at what time is a massive part to being a smarter player. But at the same time, that also comes with, you know, the essence of game sense, which does take a while to kind of learn, but once you've kind of learned it, you've got it forever. It's kind of thing that it comes with hours and hours and hours of playing. But, you know, it also helps to kind of understand. So maybe go into an offline with box mode, just pretend that you spawn in somewhere here, and then count how long it takes to get to your position. Let's just say we go into window, so start at 23, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 8 seconds to peak, between 7 and 8 seconds. Let's just say the T's have a good spawn, so starting at 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you still meet there roughly at the same time. That's with an average spawn. If you were, say, here, like I said earlier, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 seconds, and you're only just getting through murder hole. So they're gonna kind of peak you first. So to become a smarter player, you kind of need to understand the timings of things that can happen. That's pretty much it really when it comes to awareness. It's just kind of learning the map, learning where they can be, and you know, how quickly can they be there. So the next part about becoming a smarter player is understanding economy, and that's what you can see on screen now. It's just a very simple look into it. So as you can see, when you're on the T side, winning a round with the bomb exploding gives you 3,500. But if you win by just killing all the CTs, you only get 3,250. So even though I've only put it down for the T side, you can also use this on the CT side. You know, if they won the round with the bomb exploding, that means they get more money than if they kill the CTs. So as stupid as it sounds, sometimes if it's, say, a 1v4, it can be more beneficial for you to just run in and die depending on what weapon you have. Say if you just have a pistol armor, it might be sometimes it's worth just running in and just dying, just so they don't get that extra, you know, 250 bucks. Just that can, I know it's not a lot, but it builds up over time. And also, as you can see, when you lose rounds, the money goes up with each round lost. So what I mean by this is, when you lose the first round, you receive $1,400. Second round in a row, you receive $1,900. Third round in a row, you get $2,400. The fourth round in a row, you get $2,900. And every round after that, you get $3,400. But once you, say, win a round and then lose again, it resets back to $1,400. And then it goes through again, so with 14, then 19, then 24, then 29, then 34 again. Obviously, if you lose, say, 5 rounds in a row. So you kind of need to take that into consideration when you're playing. So you want to kind of know, are these guys going to be on a full buy? Are they going to be on pistols? Are they going to have AWPs in play? What kind of thing, you know, things like that. So a good example of that is, if you win the pistol round on whichever side, you know that the next round is going to be a force buy from them, so they're going to have pistols. The only exception to them force buying second round is if they're T side and they plant the bomb. A lot of teams will eco and then buy the third round. But that's just something I'll get into in a minute. So you kind of need to know when the other team are going to be buying. So let's just say they win you win the pistol round. You know for a fact that either the CTs or the Ts are going to have just pistols. So if they're on T side, they'll probably be rushing with Tech 9s, they might have the odd deagle. Or if they're on CT side, they're going to have, CTs are going to have 5.7s, deagles, P250s, that kind of thing. So you want to be kind of making a play around that, so you don't really want to be smoking off choke points just so you can get the longer range engagements if you win the first. Then obviously if you win the second as well, the third round, they're only going to have between about 18 to 2,200 depending if one person full saved on the second round or not. So that's kind of what you need to be thinking about there, is what their money is going to be like. That makes you a much smarter player because you can base plays around it. So say for example, if you don't know that they're going to be ecoing and they've got pistols, and you just run in with an AK into a close corner, the pistol's going to win every single time, because pistols are incredibly overpowered if you can get them at close range. And now we're going to talk about self-awareness. And what I mean by that is, what can you do that is classed as a smart play? And that's mainly attributed down to your individual patience. And your ability to make a play when a play is needed to be made, and what to make. So say for example, if you're CT side and you can hear them rushing out apartments to B. Let's just say you're here, yeah? They're just rushing and they don't see you. 3 people drop out, okay? Just say 3, maybe 4, even or 5 drop out. A good play there would be, instead of shooting the first person, let them out, and then when they're starting to plant, shoot, say if there's someone bench, shoot him, then shoot the planter, and then try and get as many kills as you can from there. Because then you're guaranteed 2 kills instead of just guaranteed 1. Because if they're pushing and they're here when you're challenging, unless you get incredibly lucky or they whiff their shots, like I said, incredibly lucky, you're probably only going to get 1. But at this point, you're guaranteeing yourself at least 2, because one person's planting, so he's helpless, and the second person doesn't know you're there. So all you've got to do is tap that guy away, and then just spray that guy, and then maybe transfer across or something. Transfer your spray, depending on what the situation can be. But that just goes down to your patience, and that's a massive thing when it comes to game making you a smarter player, is understanding when you need to kill somebody, and also when you need to let them pass, or when you need to leave somebody instead of killing them. So that's, like I said, that just narrows down to patience. You need to kind of get it out of your system. You need to get your egotistical side out of your system and play for the team instead of playing for, say, if you were to peak there, you might get a really nutty 5k spray down, but that'll only happen once every, say, maybe 10, 20, probably not even that, maybe 30, 40 tries, 1 in 10, about 1 in 10. Or let them pass and get at least 3 kills for your team, maybe 2, 3 kills for your team. That's a better play overall than it is for yourself, and that's just down to your ego. I mean, everyone likes to look good at the game. Everyone likes to make these insane plays, the 1v5 clutches, the 1v3 clutches, the 1v2 clutches, whatever. Everybody wants to be the hero of the team. Everybody wants to be the person who, gets called a hacker, or, the person who leads your team to win something. Like, in personal experience, I've had people on my team who were egotistical. I've had people on my team who just wanted to play for themselves, and just who kind of don't like it when they're not on top of the leaderboard, getting all the attention of the opponents and you. I've had people like that, and it's horrible. It's not a nice thing. It doesn't make you a person who people want to play with. It makes you a person who they want to get rid of. So you want to be playing for the team and not for yourself. And like I said, that just comes down to be patient, your ego, and your game sense. But like I said about that earlier, that comes with just time and experience playing the game, really.